Johlene, I saw that you've got an event coming up. You're going to tell us about the CSOS Consolidated Practice Directive. What in the world is this?
The CSOS has brought out a consolidated practice directive that replaces all the existing practice directives, and this practice directive is about 170 odd pages long. I think when they sent it out the draft a couple of months ago, we summarized it in a one-pager. And it's still valid what we summarized. However, there's so many questions coming up now, and so the CSOS Practice Directive is basically, it tells you who should register as a community scheme, who should pay their levies, who should register their rules, what type of rules cannot be registered, undesirable rules in the industry. There's a heap of them that you cannot put in your conduct rules because the CSOS will simply not approve it. Some of those rules I've been talking about for years. That's absolutely unconstitutional. Prejudice against domestic workers, can't slaughter within a community scheme. Now that's quite a hot topic, but it's a constitutional right to practice your religious and cultural beliefs. And the list goes on. So it really talks about everything that the CSOS wants moving forward in order for schemes to comply.
Has the practice idea been around for a while and it's just being implemented now? Is it something completely new?
Yeah, so many of the provisions now in the Consolidated Practice Directive, they are new. However, some of these undesirable rules, I think I was part of, if not drafted that practice directive in 2016 or 17. What the CSOS Consolidated Practice Directive are doing now, they are advising all schemes to submit their rules to the CSOS. So this not only applies to body corporates now, it applies to homeowners associations and all the other forms of community schemes. And I think where the industry is up in arms is because of the fact that they said prison time and or huge fines. I mean, there's fines up to 50,000 Rand if you are breaching those provisions in that Consolidated Practice Directive, and that's a big thing. We have to really see, number one, that schemes are complying, and number two, whether CSOS has the powers indeed to enforce those provisions or many of those provisions in that Consolidated Practice Directive.
Sure, and who do the fines land on? I mean, who is ultimately at fault when the rules are not registered for a community scheme?
The community scheme, at the end of the day.
So it's the trustees, the body corporate.
The body corporate, the homeowners association, the retirement scheme, all of them, and of course, yes, the trustees or scheme executives, so that could be your board of directors as well. They are the custodians of these community schemes, so it falls upon them and their fiduciary duty. So it's very, very important.
So there might be quite a few schemes out there where they have a set of rules that don't comply with the new directive, or they don't have any rules at all. Yeah. No,
definitely. I mean, I think, in my view, is that the majority of schemes in this country might be registered with the CSOS, but their rules have not been quality assured, especially sectional title developments like body corporates. So they are non-compliant, And that is a terrible thing about this, because if your rules are not registered with the CSOS quality assured, if you do not have a Section 10 certificate, you can't enforce that rules in your body corporate. And then when schemes come to us, they say, but Johlene, we've never had rules. We had rules, but it's registered in Leeds office. That's past. CSOS has been there for a decade now. Your rules should have been registered at CSOS for sectional title development. That's because that's specifically mentioned in the CSOS Act as well.
Right. And when does this directive take effect?
Immediately, it's been in effect.
Okay.
So I think that's why we also we've been advocating this for years to say be compliant, etc. But now the time has come where CSOS actually said, oh, we're going to fine you. And we don't want anybody to be fined.
Right. So if you're not sure, if you're managing a community scheme and you're not sure, you definitely need to get your rules reviewed to make sure they are registered and they do comply.
Absolutely, and I think that's why we're going to have our webinar on the 19th of August. So many people has asked us after, my article in Business Tech. They say, oh, Johlene, are we compliant? What to do? We're an HOA, we're a retirement scheme. So we said we're going to have a webinar, so it's more inclusive for everyone around the country, because obviously there's a lot of clients. It's not just here in Gauteng where we are. So we are going to do a webinar. It's free of charge. There is no charge. All our training is free of charge.
To register for that webinar, we just need to mail events@vdm.law, and then we get a link to log in.
100%.
Okay.
And please remember, the webinar is free of charge. We're going to send the presentation afterwards, and there's going to be ample time to ask questions and answers. So, see you all on the 19th of August at 10 a.m.
We're excited.
Thank you.